Hello. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm going to give people a few moments to pop on. If you're joining me live, hi JP. Can't wait to see you back in the studio. Hi Casey. Today we will be practicing at the wall. It's not absolutely necessary. You might have to kind of figure it out how you could do it minus the wall, but certainly will be possible. Check my time here. A couple minutes and then we'll get going. The practice is going to be about a 3-part series. It'll be about an hour, and we're going to start off like a vinyasa flow, getting the body heated up, getting the muscles activated, getting our breath flowing, and then we'll take that vinyasa flow, move it onto the wall, and if you want to stay after that part and do a little bit of extra practice at the wall, some handstand practice, some forearm balance practice. Of course, you can play with those. Those of you who are headstanders, you can do that as well. I'm not going to guide as much as the headstanding. I'm an instructor who prefers to have one-on-one opportunity for those who are doing headstanding because of the pressure that it puts on the neck. To be able to see it in person is what I feel a lot safer. So I'll leave that up to you. Many of you are seasoned practitioners and you know your practice. So I'm going to try to step back from some of the little pinpoint type notifications, or what's the word I'm looking for, right? For all that extra wording that we put in. So just kind of doing a flow with yogi style, I guess, but of course giving you just the basic points. As always, practice how you need to practice in a way that will nurture you. Hi Sandy, hi Ed, hi Kathy, miss all of you. Thank you so much for popping on this evening. I'm going to head over to the mat. We are going to start out with some neck stretches. And then, like I said, we're going to start to slowly move into a flow in order to start heating the body and getting the blood pumping and getting our breath going. So, meet you on the mat. Find a comfortable seat. If you need to use a block or towels, a blanket, please feel free. Taking a moment to just settle in. Maybe pulling a little bit of the flesh out so that you can really connect into your sits bones. And then allowing your arms to your lap. Melt the shoulders down away from the ears. And go ahead and close your eyes for just a moment. Maybe using this opportunity to punctuate your day that's passed. And come into the here and now. If there is an intention you want to set, or maybe some type of phrase, a mantra that will help to guide you in your practice, please use this time to set those, or think of what phrase you'd like to use. And now sliding the hands onto the knees, begin to loop your shoulders forward up and back and down. Do that a few times, loosening up tension that gets collected around the neck and shoulders. you like to go the opposite direction, maybe a few rotations, bringing those shoulders forward up, back down. And then we're going to slide the left arm behind. Take a hold of that left wrist with your right thumb and pointer. Pull your right elbow out to the side and allow your right ear to soften towards the right shoulder. If the tension is too much, you don't have to pull across as far. Be light, be gentle. Tip your gaze up to the left just slightly. And now to your right. Continue to melt the shoulders away from the ears. Allow your chin to soften onto your chest. Arms slide down the low back. You might even interlace the fingers and reach your knuckles away from you. Shift your gaze back up to neutral and we'll take side two. So the right arm goes across. Left thumb and pointer grab the wrist, pull the elbow out on the side, and the left ear towards the left shoulder. Just feeling into the right side of the neck, softening the muscles and tension that might have gathered there. Tip your chin up to the right slightly. And then bring it all the way down to the left. Once more, allow the chin to roll onto the chest. Softening the arms down and away, maybe clasp fingers, reaching those knuckles down, or maybe you like here to bend the elbows and point the elbows behind you. Now release your big handprints onto the floor and then push your forward. Start to smile across the collarbone, opening up across the front side of the chest. And then carefully we're going to walk this forward. Bring your arms out in front of you. Inch those fingertips out. Allow your body to soften. Walk your hands back to your body. We're going to switch out the cross of the legs if you're sitting cross-legged. That way you can get into that a little bit as well. So swapping out. First, find that anchor of the sits bones, and then go ahead and inch the arms out in front of you once again. Soften down into the shape. Allow the neck and the shoulders to melt. Carefully curl the hands back underneath the body. And find your way to an all-fours position. Setting up into that table. Knees and our hips, big handprints underneath the shoulders. We'll start to move through our cat-cow. Maybe you stay with a simple forward to back, or maybe you start to dance around in it right away. Your breath, your play. Use this opportunity to loosen up throughout the spine. Think about a strong and the arms pushing firmly into the hands when you do dome the back. Really eking out as much stretch as you can. We'll take a couple more breaths here. And then joining up into a child's pose. Big toes together, knees can be wide or narrow. Inch your arms out in front of you and soften down between. To get a little deeper stretch into the shoulders, maybe you pop your elbows onto the mat. Bring the hands in a prayer position, thumbs pointing back by the neck. Now returning the hands back onto the floor. We're going to find our first downward dog. So right to your table and then elevate your hips back and up, downward dog. Freedom of motion here, maybe alternating knee bends, maybe swaying the hips. Find your play. forward on your mat. Once you arrive, easy knees, allow your body to ragdoll. Relax your neck, your shoulders, your jaw. Even feel the shoulder blades start to drip. The softer bend in the knees as you need to help take away from the hamstrings. Setting up for a halfway lift, fingertips onto your shins, a block for your mat. Reach your heart forward as you inhale, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, close the space. And then we'll carefully roll to a stand, one vertebra at a time. All the way up to that standing position. If you want to sweep the arms overhead, go for that full extension. And then allow your arms to soften at your sides, taking a moment, maybe pedal out your legs here, maybe a couple loops to the shoulders. As we start to move into a bit of flow, so working to build that heat in the body for more challenging poses we'll do as we continue on. Activate through strong legs, push into the soles of the feet, lift the spine, find your inhale. Fingers point down to the exhale, broaden the arms, reach out big. Back bend here, elbows bent or straight. Reach up on your inhale and then forward fold, exhale, dive with the legs. Halfway lift, take your inhale. Melt your body down and then exhale. Stepping back with the right foot, finding your runner's lunge. We're going to tick-tock a moment. This is our first lunge, so just give your body a chance to loosen into this shape. And then pausing into that static shape, knee above the ankle, reach the heart forward, big inhale. Place your palms in mat, step back, plank pose. Pull the low belly in. Now you decide for our push-ups here. We're going to go chaturanga back up to plank, knees up or down, first one and beyond, or keep the knees up the entire time. Lower halfway, chest down to elbow height. Push back up to that high plank. Lower down to that elbow height, and then make your way into your cobra or your up dog. So thighs on the mat if you like. Wrap the shoulders back, pulling the area between the shoulder blades together. Lift the heart. Downward facing dog, roll over those toes. Elevate your hips back and up, pause and breathe. If you have that wall behind you already, you might be cautious. Lifting that right leg up to the sky. And then you shift forward, step through. Tick-tock on this side. Once you land, let the body loosen. Pause for that big stretch. Knee above the ankle, reach the heart forward, inhale. Left foot up to right, we'll take a squat. Then pull out the belly, dome your spine. Pushing the floor away, curve in. Lift your hips as you inhale. Exhale, fold the body down. Halfway lift, reach the chest up. Exhale, close the space. Inhale, root to rise. Take your back bend or skip it. Make sure you lift up tall first so you're not collapsing into that low spine. The space underneath the heart lifts to the ceiling. Rise on your inhale, forward fold, exhale, right back over those legs. A little faster, heart lifts halfway up. Exhale, fold, step back with your left foot. Runner's lunge. Reach the heart out. Plank pose. So this will be the last time that we do that double push-up. You choose it or skip it. So lowering down, chaturanga, high plank, chaturanga, up dog or cobra. Roll, facing dog. Left leg high on your inhale again. Be careful of that wall if you have it behind you already. Knee to chest, shift forward, step through. Reach the heart up, big inhale. Right foot up to left, we'll take that squat one more time. Ball pose, dome the spine, curve in. Lift your hips, inhale breath. Soften down, exhale. Halfway lift in hand. Close the space. Come back to standing. Allow your hands to come down to the center of the chest just for a moment. Pushing the thumbs against the sternum bone. Activate again. Standing tall. Squeeze those leg muscles. Point on exhale. Reach out wide. Inhale. Forward fold right over those legs. Halfway lift in hand. Close the space, exhale. This time, step back to plank or hop back chaturanga. We'll move through that flow and meet in downward dog. Setting up for a warrior one on the right side. Lift your right leg high, big inhale. Exhale, knee to chest, shift forward, angle that left heel down, rise, warrior one. Make sure to roll out the wrist, get some pressure off. Just kind of warming you up as we continue to go. Big stretch out of the waist, elbows wide, exhale. Of course, you could always keep those arms straight. Sometimes that feels really good too. Reach up, inhale, fold, plank pose. Take your flow or skip it. Meeting in that downward facing dog. Preparing for side two. Left leg goes up, big inhale. Exhale, knee to chest, shift forward, step through. Warrior one, rise when ready. Pull that low belly in, make sure you're activating here. So we're gonna come up and out of that low back, lift the rib cage. Maybe pull the elbows wide, keep the arms straight. Area between the shoulder blades squeezes in no matter which version you're taking. Arms in, forward fold. Flow it out, skip it. If you need to go straight to that downward dog, that's always your option. Meeting in downward dog. We're prepared to head to the top edge of the mat, so soft bend in the knees. Maybe you walk forward, maybe you hop forward. Easy land, forward fold. Halfway lift in hand. Close the space, exhale. Root to rise. We're going to take that flow one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Soften. Hop or float back. Walk or float back. Downward facing dog. Warrior one, lift the right leg. Knee to chest, shift forward, step through. Bring it up. Strong activation of both legs. Reach, reach, reach. Maybe a little back bend. Forward fold, hands to mat, step back. Hopefully you're starting to feel the body warm. Those muscles getting activated, the breath is moving. Side two, lift the left leg, inhale. Knee to chest, shift forward, step through. Warrior one. Heels pull in towards one another like you're trying to fold your mat rather than ripping it in two. Lift up high out of the waist, no collapsing into the low back. Full C curve, working that spine. Fold down dog, making your way there through the flow or skip it. Bring it to the top of your mat. Halfway lift in hand. Close the space, exhale. Root to rise. Maybe add a back bend here, up and out of the waist. Reach it back. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. This time we take chair pose. Sit those hips down. Firing up the legs, biceps up by the ears. Pull the belly button to the spine. Wrap that low rib cage in. The heels, lighten the toes. 3, 2, 1. Fold it down. Halfway lift in hand. Close it off. Walk or hop back. Flow or no. Right leg lifts. Knee to chest, warrior one, bring it up. Exhale, fold. Left leg lifts, inhale. Knee to chest. Warrior one. Exhale, fold. Meeting in that downward facing dog. Again, we prepare to bring it forward. Walk or hop. Light landing. Halfway lift when you arrive. Close the gap, exhale. Back to chair, hips low, biceps high. Pull the belly button to the spine, weight back into the heels. Root to stand. Forward fold. One more time through that, then we start to move into our wall play. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Actually, I lied. Flow I want to take, helping to warm up the core, warm up those legs just a step more before we get to the wall. Forward fold. Got a little ahead of myself, sorry. Halfway lift. Close the space. Take it back. Through that warrior one sequence, right leg up, inhale. Bring it forward. Step it through. Rise. Belly in. Fold. Something else I should have told you, if you want a music, you should have set yourself up some music, right? You can always take a pause and do just that. Left leg up, big inhale. Knee to chest, step forward, step through. Forward fold. Last time here. Downward facing dog. Don't bring it forward yet. I'd like you to bring your knees down onto the mat. Hips to heels. Take a moment in child's pose. Palms to the sky. Fingertips into your palms. Soften the forehead down. So we're going to take a play, working through our lizard lunge and half splits, maybe full splits, those of you who take those, just to prep the hips and the hamstrings a little bit more. So we're going to take it back to our downward facing dog. Lifting that right leg, being cautious of your wall behind you. Opening that hip up. Maybe bending into the right knee, toes towards the left shoulder blade. Push back into that right hand prick. Try to take pressure off of that left shoulder joint. Now bring it back around a square. Exhale, knee into chest. Step through for your lunge. And lower your left knee down. Hands come onto the right thigh. Make sure you pull the rib cage in together so you're not dumping all your weight into your low back, into the joints. Want to find that space. Hands to thigh, arms to sky, maybe fingers interlaced behind you, your play. Open into your shape. Shifting this back to half splits. Hands come down, hips go back, turn the right toes towards your face, lean the body forward. Catching the ball of the foot if you like, turn the toes back, push out through the ball of the foot. So turning the toes back, push out to the ball of the foot. Getting that nice stretch down into the calf muscle and stretching the muscles in the feet, especially that plantar. We're going to bring it back to a lunge position. Finding the lizard lunge, heel toe your right foot off a couple steps to the side. Angle the toes out if you like. Maybe sole of the foot rolls up, maybe the foot is flat. Maybe you stay up on the hip, maybe low down to forearm. Stay with just this stretch, add in the quad stretch, your version of play. We're going to prepare to set up for forearm plank. If you want to play with the scissors pose, maybe you take your right arm underneath your right leg, palms pressing, pull in the low belly, lift that left knee, and then raise the right leg forward. Bending at the elbows. Once you have your balance, shift and lift the back leg, and then carefully bring it back. Right foot beside the left. Lower your elbows. Clasp your fingers or put the palms flat. Walk your knees away from the mat to find your forearm plank. Scoop your front hip points towards your low rib cage. Push strong into those forearms. Power forward. Gazes easily enter the nose, relaxing the back of the neck. Power up those legs. Last seconds here, breathe and hold. Allow your hips to come down, Sphinx pose, palms come flat. Pull back with the elbows, lift the chest forward. Let your belly come onto the mat. Extend your left to your left side. Bring your right hand tented by the right rib cage, and then roll over to that left side. Getting a stretch in the front side of the left shoulder. Trying to allow your left temple to come to the floor. If you have a block or a towel, if it's inaccessible to get that head to soften down, use some sort of padding support underneath. If you want to bend the right knee, putting the foot on the floor, go for that version. On your next inhale, carefully unwind. Back to the belly you go. Side two, reach your right arm straight out. Left hand tense by the left rib cage, rolling it to your right. Stacking the hips, soften into that shape. Inhale, make your way around to square. Either push through all fours or straight into your plank. We're going to meet in a downward facing dog. Flow through. Once you're in downward dog, think about your breath, activating through those arms. Side two, three-legged dog. Bring that left leg up. Hip to open. Bend the knee if you like, toes towards the right shoulder blade. Try to lift out of that right shoulder, activating back into that left arm. Inhale, bring it around the square. Exhale, get a chest, shift forward, step through. Right knee onto the floor. Crawl it up. Pull everything together. Lean into your psoas stretch. So hip flexor stretch here on the right side. Any arm variation you'd like to take? Just be cautious you don't dump into your joints. Always looking for that lightness, that space in our body. Body forward, hips back, half splits, or full. Toes towards the face, lean out of the leg. Maybe get a hold of those toes, pull them back a little farther, getting deeper into that calf muscle and the sole. Find your way back to that lunge position, setting up the lizard lunge. Heel toe the left foot out a couple steps to the side, foot flat or sole of the foot up. Hand staying lifted on that right hand or lowering down. Adding in the stretch to the back leg if you choose. Those of you who took that little bit of scissors play, so we walk that left foot back underneath. Maybe that left arm slides underneath. Hands push firm into the mat. Pick up that right knee, pull the low belly in. Try to lift that left leg forward or out to the side. Start to look out to the side towards the foot. Back leg as that right elbow bends in towards the waist. Step left foot beside the right. Knees down, elbows down. One more time, forearm plank. Clasp the fingers or palms flat, elbows under shoulders, squeeze like you're block. Rather than letting those elbows splay wide and the chest to drape down. Push strong into the forearms, pull the belly button in, activate through those legs. Slow, steady breathing, try to regroup. Maybe that's just a mental note for myself. For 3, 2, 1, hips onto the mat, Sphinx pose. Take your feet as wide as you need, pull the chest through, shoulder blades pull together. Down. This time you're going to tip the fingertips off of the mat. So big handprints or tinted fingers, big claw hands. Push into those fingers, lift the chest. Turn to look over your right shoulder, let your left shoulder dip forward. Inhale, rise to center. Swap sides, right shoulder forward. Look over left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, lower your way down. Hands under chest, push through all fours. We'll meet up in that downward facing dog. All right, knees to mat. Moment, hero's pose. So if it's okay for you to stretch the soles of your feet a little more, then I would encourage you to take the toes tucked under variation. If that's too intense, of course, you could always sit up on a blocker and keep the tops of the feet flat, okay? It is a good idea to stretch out the soles of the feet. With too much tightness, that's where you can start to create some plantar fasciitis, some tearing at the heel. So flexibility of our feet as well as the rest of the body, really important. All right, while we're here, we're going to stretch out our wrists a little bit more, preparing them. We are going to go inverted a little bit. Of course, you have the option to skip it if you want. So interlace the fingers to roll those wrists out. Looping around, going different directions. And now, allow the palms of your hands to come together like a prayer. Wash the hands back and forth, like windshield wipers. Switch that and go forward back. Release, maybe flicking off the hands. Come back to our table. This time, when you come to table, I'd like you to take your toes against the edge of your wall, if you are indeed using a wall here. So, big handprints underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips for a moment. Take an inhale, bring the chest forward for our cow belly. Exhale, tip the spine to our cat pose. And then return to neutral. Those of you who don't want to go inverted on your own, then you can take a couple more rounds of that. Those of you who'd like to play with a little inversion here, we're going to walk up onto the wall. So once you're ready, lift into your downward facing dog. And those of you who are avoiding the elevation, you could also decide to come to downward dog and just take some playful movement there. If your calves and hamstrings are tight, you might even lift so that the balls of your feet are down, but your heels are actually elevated on the wall. And that can take some pressure off of those calf muscles and those hamstrings and the ankles as well. All right, those of you who are going on the wall with me, you're going to take your fingertips to where the heel of your hand back to where the heel of your hand was, and then start to lift your legs onto the wall, starting 1 foot at a time. Okay? Be mindful of what you're doing here. Pull the rib cage together, push strong into those arms, feel the finger pads pushing into the floor. Now you can let your chest come through, getting a nice shoulder stretch, but that's not where we want to hang out, okay? Shoulder stretch, and then try to push, activate back into those arms, so lift out of that, so you don't put too much sway in your low back. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Carefully bring yourself off of the wall. And we're going to lower knees back onto the mat. Take a moment just to kind of deactivate. Take a couple of breaths. Coming out of that, roll out the wrist, a little shake, whatever feels good. We're going to continue our play with the wall, and we're going to build on that little bit of L practice there as we go on. And again, it's something optional you can play with. If you'd rather be in the studio practicing with a competent instructor, I wouldn't blame you for that either. It's a safe way to build your inversion practice and make sure that you have someone there guiding you. So you know your practice, do what feels best to you. Downward facing dog. So this time we're going to take three-legged dog, lifting your right leg up as high as you can against the wall. Push strong into those arms, pushing back like you would a big dog, getting that nice stretch. Now, allow your right heel to roll flat. So your right toes turn out to the right to bring that heel onto the mat, onto the wall. Your left hand is going to be a little bit forward of your shoulder, and if you feel stable and comfortable, we're going to bring the right hand up. If you don't, of course, right fingertips remain down on the floor. If that right arm goes up and you feel comfortable enough to take your gaze to that top thumb, now carefully bring that right hand down, lift that right heel, take an inhale, exhale, knee to chest, shift forward, step through. We're going to find warrior one with your left outer heel against your wall. Rise up into your warrior one shape. Now this is where we'll take a moment, take a break, let those wrists roll out. Think about the activation of your legs, pulling those hip points towards square, pulling the low belly in, activating that back leg, front leg. Arms reach high if you're down, big inhale. Take the elbows wide, exhale, let's cactus it open. Reach up, take your arms behind you, clasp your fingers. Roll the shoulders open. And we'll take it down into humble warrior. Lowering down inside of that right leg. Gazing on your right big toe, or maybe your left. Arms fall away from the back. Squeeze your right knee against your right rib cage. Push solidly into the feet. Lift yourself up, big inhale. We're going to take this open to warrior two. So arms go up, turn it out to the side, exhale. So when you go into your warrior two, you might find that you're going to need more space to come into that lunge. Usually we heel toe that back foot out. This time you're just going to crawl that right foot forward. Finding that strong warrior two. Above the right ankle, chest opens, little tuck, pulling that low rib cage in. Face your palms to the ceiling. Straighten your front knee, reach up, inhale, pumping warriors. Exhale, back to that warrior two, let your shoulders melt. Now reach up. Exhale, lower down. So warrior two into reverse warrior. Let your left hand come to the wall as that right arm sweeps over. Now, start to allow your left elbow to bend as your right knee straightens. See if you can reach your right fingertips overhead to the wall, getting that beautiful side body stretch. Return back around to our warrior two. And then cartwheel around to find the floor. So hands come down. Now, where your foot is, you're going to take the toes of your foot to where your heel was. So take a little step back. Once that right foot is, lift your left leg onto the wall. And you want to think about having your left leg parallel with that left hip. You might take your right thumb to your right hip crease, pushing that hip back. Feel strong activation of your base leg as well as a strong activation of pushing against the wall. Maybe you stay here, supported warrior three, hands down on the floor and that wall, or maybe you take it to a revolved half moon, left hand staying down and the right arm lifting up. Activating through both legs, pull the belly button to the spine. Notice if you have a tendency to let your rib cage flare out, try to pull it in, lengthen out the spine. For 3, 2, 1. Let that right hand come down. We're going to meet in pyramid. Soften in your shape. Hands down onto the mat, step back, downward facing dog. If you want to add a flow here, please feel free. If you'd rather just stay and settle in your breath, go for that. We're going to move that onto the left side. So taking the left leg up towards the wall. First, letting toes come onto the wall, pushing the leg, feeling that nice stretch in the leg. Be careful that you don't let yourself collapse between the shoulder blades. Keep that strong activation of the arms. Lean in. Now slowly pivot down onto the wall. Right hand is going to be a little forward to the right shoulder. Once you feel comfortable, maybe let that left arm start to rise up. Gaze down at the mat, out in front of you, or maybe all the way. Play with this moment of stability. And slowly bring it down. Left hand onto the mat. Heel lifts, take an inhale. Exhale, knee to chest, shift forward, step through. Warrior one, pivot that right heel flat. Adjust as you need to get that outer edge of the foot against the wall. Reaching up into your warrior one. Again, maybe go for that little wrist roll out. Inhale, reach it high. Exhale, open it up. Arms straight, arms bent, you choose. Reach up, inhale. Arms behind you, exhale. Clasp the fingers, and then lower yourself down inside of that left leg. Even here, with the right heel pushing, you still want to think about that rooting in, that narrowing in, pulling the strength of your body towards the midline. So we hug the midline, allowing the upper body to feel more space to open. As you inhale, rise. Unwind those arms. Open out to your warrior two. Remember, hopping that left foot a few steps forward to get low into your lunge. Melt the shoulders. Activate through the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. This just helps you to find that balance between strength and flexibility. Inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior two. This time we're going to find that reverse. So right, left arm goes up and slowly starts to arch over. Now start to bend the right elbow, straighten the left leg. See if you can take those left fingertips overhead, getting that good side body stretch. We're going to carefully return back to that warrior two. Cartwheel it around. Hands come down. Once the hands are down on the mat, you're going to hop that left foot back. So the heel was, lifting that right leg up onto the wall, trying to get that parallel. And if you find that you're a little too far, of course, you make your adjustments. Maybe left thumb into that left hip crease, pushing that hip back, activating crown of the head forward. Find both legs, both hands down on the mat, or maybe that left arm lifts up. Stability, strength, flexibility, working especially that twist into the trying to shine the heart more up. Left hand down onto the floor. Step to your pyramid. Right foot onto the mat. Soften the body in. To your downward facing dog. So we're going to do that whole sequence one more time, but we're going to get rid of a few things and add in a few. Right leg goes back. Lean into that stretch a moment. Turn the heel flat. Left hand firmly rooted. Maybe that right arm starts to lift up. Carefully bring it down. Preparing for that warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Step through. Warrior one. Left heel down. Rise up. We're taking it right open into our warrior. Pivot the body, lower down to your lunge. And this time find your side angle. So lean out over that right leg, right arm down, left arm up. Maybe that left arm extends all the way over the ear. If you have, feel free to take it. Left arm behind the back. Make sure that you do find the complete bind. You're not just hanging out in between. Open the chest. You're going to inhale, make your way out. Straighten the front knee, left arm against the wall. Reach over with that right arm. Inhale, come up. We're going to pivot around facing the front edge of your mat. So let your body shift. Step that right foot. Inhale, reach up. Hands come down. Once your hands are down, make sure that right foot is underneath you. Lift your left leg onto the wall. Back into revolved half moon. Firming that top leg, firming the base leg, lifting that right arm up. Now, if you'd like to play, maybe you try lifting your left arm up as well. Hands come down when you're ready. You can step into your pyramid pose, or we can play with lifting this base leg up to the sky, keeping the left leg against the wall. So walking the hands, the shoulders, activating through those arms, push firm into that leg against the wall, take your right leg up. And maybe you lean out, pushing firm into those arms, lifting out of the shoulders, pull belly button to spine. Join us in pyramid pose. Once you're ready, soften into your shape. Downward facing dog. If you want to flow here, go for it. If you'd rather just hold your downward dog, connect with breath, maybe child's, don't be afraid to do any of those. Last side of this flow, working that left leg up the wall. Lean into that stretch a moment. Come flat. Maybe that left arm starts to lift up. Close it off. Prepare to step through for the hands. Right heel to mat. Rise into your warrior one. Take it open into your warrior two. Find your side angle pose. Lean out over that left thigh. Left arm. Always an option to use forearm to knee or hand on some sort of support. Right arm going all the way over the ear if you like. Finding that true angle. Extension. Or maybe you find your bind. As you inhale, straighten out that front knee, right hand against the wall, reach over with that left arm. Inhale, rise up. Hands, we're going to pivot around, face the front edge of the mat. Leveling off. Take your arms up, inhale. Hands come down, exhale. Finding your adjustments. Right foot up on the wall. Lengthen out from the spine. Remember, knit the rib cage. Think about leveling those hips. Maybe just into your revolved half moon. Maybe lifting that right arm. Find that breath that is challenging, especially in that standing leg. Close it off when you're ready, okay? Pyramid pose if that's where you're headed, or again, if you feel comfortable to work that in solidifying your right leg to the wall, slowly start to lift that left leg up. Now, I've noticed that my hands are not secure underneath my shoulders, so I'm going to walk them back one hand at a time. I'm going to lift up from that top leg, pull the low belly in, just find the elevation, shifting, lifting out of those shoulders, gazing between the thumbs. Maybe again, you've worked some of your inversion handstand practice. Those of you who are solid in that, playful in that, we'll meet you. Downward facing dog. Lower skip. Into child's pose, knees to mat, hips to heels. Time flies when you're having fun. Doing a playful little inversion practice. Those of you who want to stay for that. We're going to do a shoulder stretch first. So maybe if you're not interested in continuing on working the inversion, you go from the shoulder stretching that we do to a pigeon pose or whatever hip opener you like. If you want to play, we're going to take just a couple of moments to work forearm balance and then some handstand practice at the wall. And then we'll move into some final little stretching. All right, so finding your table. Take your right arm out to the side as you inhale. And then allow your right arm to come through. Lowering the right shoulder down. Right temple too. Melt into that space underneath your right shoulder blade. Fan of extending my leg out to the side because I can get a deeper rotation. You find the version that nurtures you. As you inhale, begin to unwind. And then swapping sides once you're ready. Left arm goes out wide. The left arm sweeps under. Left shoulder down. Open into your twist, into your stretch. As you inhale, begin to unwind. Knees underneath the hips. So again, those of you you feel like you're sufficiently wrung out from your practice, no interest in doing inversions at home, this is where maybe you could move into your own form of stretching, whatever kind of cool down works for you. For those of you who do want to work inversions, I'll talk you through it, but of course I would rather you be hands-on if it's totally brand new to you, so wait till we can all be together again in the studio preferably. All right, so we're going to set up for, and the best method I have found to setting it up, I'm going to show you facing the camera first, and then I'm going to come over to the wall. Okay, so I like where you reach around, grabbing the fingertips around the elbows, points of solidity for the shoulders, that shoulder girdle, bringing the hands out in front of you. Okay, and then the big key is to really work that activation of keeping that squeeze. If we're weak a bit in the chest or the shoulders, and this happens to anyone and everyone, you know, at various times, then we're going to have a tendency to let those elbows splay. Okay, so if you find that that is your tendency, then just back out of it tonight and come back to at another time. Okay, all right. So I'm going to turn and face the wall. I'm going to take my hands around, and then once I have that, I'm going to bring my fingertips to brush against the base of the wall. I'm going to start to squeeze those elbows in, and then I'm going to rise into my dolphin downward dog. Once I start to lift, I already notice that my elbows are having that tendency to splay, so I'm going to wrap that strong support system through my shoulder girdle. As I have that, I'm going to continue to walk forward until I feel like I can't get my toes any closer to my elbows without my elbows really collapsing out. And then taking one leg up, using that base leg to hop off. Finding both feet on the wall. I'm going to start to re-squeeze and push, really lifting up out of my shoulders. Starting to lift one leg directly over the hips, pulling the low belly in, knitting that rib cage, and maybe that other leg will start to join. So again, squeeze, push up and out of the shoulders, lift and activate. Once the legs lift, squeezing those ankles together to really get that hugging the midline, everything lifting, lengthening up. All right, so give that a couple more plays. Checking my time. To keep you guys over when I can. And if you start to feel stable, you could do it away from the wall. Same idea. Look out, lift up, and it's really that top leg to help carry that base leg up. Take a moment, let your body soften. Find your extended child's pose or even your embryo pose to let those shoulders fully relax. Forehead maybe rocking the floor. Please feel free to stay with that, continue to play, or if you like, we'll go to our hands. Now working the hands, same idea. Here, we want that stable support system of the arms underneath the shoulders. And you are going to use the tips of your fingers to help you find that bit of pivot balance, okay? So squeezing those arms together. I don't want my arms, my shoulders to be too far up by my ears, but I also don't want to sink down too far away. So there's a little balance point between the elevation of the scapula and decompressing the scapula, okay? So I do want pushing into the hands, but not bringing those shoulders so that they're squeezing up around the ears. So as I bring it around, hands underneath the shoulders, step away from the wall, using those big handprints. One foot steps in, just like you were setting up into that dolphin downward dog. You lift in, lean in, and then using the base to bring that top leg up. Once the top leg hits the wall, carry the other leg up to it. And then same thing, you want to think about slowly bringing one leg off, wrapping the rib cage, strong push, steady, hold it. Maybe you can let that other leg start to creep away from the wall as well. And maybe not, and that's okay, that's your play. Now this time I'm my head against the wall, which is another version that you can play with. We'll do that in person. All right, so give that a few hop arounds, play with that. And once you're done, join in kneeling position. So for me, as I come out, I like to take some loops to the shoulders. Maybe you take a big reach overhead. And then we're moving to pigeon pose if you're still with me and interested in doing a little cool down for those hips. Right knee coming over to the right wrist. Three-legged dog first. Walking yourself out and lowering yourself into the shape. We'll take a few breaths here, allowing the body to soften. Allow yourself to reconnect with your breath. On your next inhale, making your way through your transition, swapping over to your side. Left knee, left wrist. Melt into your shape. On your next inhale, making your way up. We're going to roll over onto our back, so helping that back leg to come forward. Spine. I'm going to stay seated for just a moment as you roll it out. So to tell you, playing stuff on the wall, stuff that's new, playing inversions, things like that, challenging, but hopefully you found it somewhat fun and invigorating. For me, for many, many years, I never thought that I would even attempt to go upside down playing with handstands and forearm balances and things like that. Just in the last 5-6 years or so, have I slowly started to work on that handstand practice. I've had times where I really got rigorous about it and really was dying to get that handstand. And then there were times where I had to just totally back off and say, all right, forget it, it's not worth it, whatever, right? And I think that comes in the yoga practice just with anything. It's that finding the balance between ease and effort. And especially for me with handstand play, it's been finding a bit of playfulness and not so much of the force and the expectation on myself, but just having some fun. And there is a true lift. If April were here with me, I know she would be nodding and saying yes as well, because we've talked about that many times, about how inspiring and how uplifting it can be to the heart to play with that. So don't be afraid to try it. love to have you practice with us back in the studio once we're all together again. I'd love to help you to build towards that handstand practice. I am by no means a perfectionist or have reached that perfect goal of handstand, but have finally started to, find a bit of that hang time. And it's really a joy, it's really a pleasure. So I would love to be able to share that with you and the little tips that helped me to get to where I am, if it would help you as well. All right, until thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. I can't wait to see you in person. Light and love.